zinc yẹn ìdọ̀tí yẹn kò sínú vein ọ̀bọ̀ wẹ̀ dáadáa ó lè lo ọṣẹ àti sponge. ẹ bá wa tán tv yẹn.
Okay.
Moto wa mú ìmọ̀tò yẹn mọ̀ ìmọ̀tò wa. Alo lo tv last. Halima. Mo lo fi tv mo lè fi remote box yẹn sí. Mo sọ fún ẹ several times pé máa mú kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́ wàá tún máa mú kiri.
I stopped and took it because I remember when I was watching TV and when I was doing this, I stopped and took the remote. I pushed it off the TV. I don't know because she took it.
Halim.
Listen, if you saw.
Wow. Mambi. Pé tọ́pẹ́ fún lórí fóònù ẹ̀ kò gbé speaker. Mo ló fi remote náà máa fi wo box. Ó kì í ṣe é.
Community Shield, Marquet's gone, Eze's gone, the manager is going, Mateta is going, but nobody is bigger than the football club. The football club will survive because the fans will always be there. Whoever's playing for them, whatever division they're playing in, that's the most important thing. Players come and go. A couple of months ago, Jean-Philippe Mateta was a cult hero at Selhurst Park. Most Palace fans I speak to now, unfortunately, would be glad to see the back of it.
Mark,
For the right price.
Yeah, Carvo mentioned replacements. Emma Gesson, is that close?
Yeah, that's one player that is heading towards Selhurst Park at the moment. Everything on track with his loan move from Aston Villa. He's been in London over the course of the last 24 hours to formalise the move, complete the medical and make sure everything is sorted. That's a loan deal with an obligation at £28 million, depending on how many Palace appearances he makes between now and the end of the season.
Not an out-and-out striker though, is he? Like Mateta?
No, he hasn't. Again, you talk about one goal from open play. Unfortunately, Gesson hasn't scored any Premier League goals so far this season. Just the one assist in the Premier League, a couple of goals in the Europa League. But he can play in that versatile forward role. So maybe he can play on the left, play as a 9, play on the right-hand side. So he brings that little bit of versatility. So he can solve a lot of problems that perhaps Oliver Glasner has with a sort of a slimline squad. You've got one player that can fit into multiple roles, then that will be a big plus. If the deal becomes a permanent deal, then the player has agreed a 4-year contract at Crystal Palace as well. So there is one player definitely heading towards Selhurst Park.
So he's leaving Villa. What do you make of Villa's window, Carlo?
I think they've had a brilliant season so far. We're 60% of the way through the season. I know Unai Emery has been downplaying their chances of finishing in the top 4. I think they'll definitely finish in the top 4.
They're in the title race. I don't know why people don't think that.
No, yeah, I agree with you.
Same points to City. City are in the title race, Villa in the title race.
I agree with you, and I think on paper they've had a good window because Emery said, I want another striker. They've got Tammy Abraham. He wanted another midfielder because they've got so many injury problems in midfield. They've got Douglas Luiz. Let's see how good Luiz is at the moment. Can he recapture his best form from the last time round when he was at Villa. I just think injuries are the big issue for Villa. Ollie Watkins going off with what looked like a hamstring injury as well. So let's just hope, you know, from Villa's perspective, that they can keep this run going, keep this momentum going, and deal with the injury problems that are piling up for them.
Okay, we're talking about these strikers, Jorgen Strand Larsen, Mark. Where are we with him?
Yes, this is another deal that's getting closer. It feels like it gets close and then everyone takes 2 steps back and then they take 1 step forward. So yesterday on the transfer show, in the morning, we were saying there was a deal that was agreed in principle, it was a verbal agreement, it was worth 45 million plus 5 million in add-ons. About 12 hours later in the evening transfer show, we were saying the deal was in doubt. Intermediaries from the side of the player were willing to walk away from any potential deal. Wolves were telling us that as far as they were concerned, everything was on track and everything was progressing in the right way. Today, we're being told that Crystal Palace are still keen on getting a deal done. They're just doing some final adjustments, which we understand to be to the 5 million in add-ons. That's where the conversation lies at the moment. But it feels like this is a deal that will eventually get done. And we're being told that it has no bearing on the future of Jean-Philippe Mateta as well. These are players, Gesson and Jorgen Strand Larsen, that Oliver Glasner and Crystal Palace absolutely want to sign because they want to strengthen the squad for the second phase of the season. They've got the Europa Conference League, they've got things they need to try and compete with, and of course they want to get away from the Premier League's bottom 3. So this is a deal that we keep saying is getting close, and despite the hiccups, I do think this is one that will happen over the next 24 to 48 hours.
Why the scramble for a player who's got 1 Premier League goal all season?
You're a bit punchy with the question.
Yeah, I don't get this.
You picked Carve in round 1 and you come for me in round 2. I tell you what, I'll give you 4 reasons as to why Jorgen Strand Larsen is a player that actually probably could be a good signing. Now, for a start, he's only scored 1 Premier League goal in a poor Wolves side that are currently 20th in the Premier League. So straight away, it's always going to be tricky for a striker when you're in a team that's not creating chances, not having a lot of the ball, and you're fighting for your life. You can see the comparisons between the players that we've been talking about there, Mateta, Strand Larsen and Gesson. There's not a lot of goals between them, considering you're looking at 40, 50, 28 million pounds worth of talent, and it shows you just how tough recruitment is. The other thing, Jorgen Strand Larsen finished the season last year really strongly. He got 7 goals in his last 9 Premier League games.
Against who?
Against sides maybe that were in the bottom half of the table, yes, but he can score Premier League goals, and that's going to be crucial. And those were the kind of percentages that would have highlighted him for Newcastle, who had a bid in excess of £50 million rejected in the summer. So he's still a talented player there. He's 25 years old, 26 soon, but every single side wants to buy a player that has a resale value. Someone they can buy at 25, have him for 3 or 4 years, and then sell him on and get a chunk of their money back. So he ticks that box. The other thing is he's an all-way international as well. So he plays international football, which is also a big plus commercially, big plus for resale value, and the fact that you bring a bit of kudos to the club. You know, he's an international player as well. So those 4 reasons are why perhaps Crystal Palace are looking at Jorgen Strand Larsen.
But if Wolves sell him, is that them waving the white flag? Is that them saying, right, we're preparing for the Championship?
I think they have to be realistic. There'll be 2 plans at place at Wolves. There'll be one they'll be looking at, which is Championship football, and how do we design a team that can come straight back up. The other one will be, well, let's see how we get on this weekend against Bournemouth, who have not had a good run recently. I know they've had big results against Liverpool and Spurs, but their form hasn't been great. They are a tricky team to play against. If we can pick up 3 points then, who knows? It's unlikely, very unlikely. But they are also trying to sign someone. They're in talks with Torino over a possible deal for the 29-year-old striker Shay Adams, who last played in English football in May 2024 for Southampton. He's got 3 goals in Serie A this season, done okay at Torino whilst he's been there, knows the Premier League, physical player, Scotland international. So they are trying to recruit as well. It's not just a fire sale at Wolves, they are trying to bring some players in for Rob Edwards. So, yeah, it looks like they're heading down to the Championship. But of course, ultimately it's about finance as well, and I think that's dictated a lot of what they've done in the summer and in this window.
Harvey, if all these deals go through, these players get their moves, which club's the big winner?
I think potentially Palace, if they get Jorgen Strand Larsen.
I guess on.
Yeah, I think Strand Larsen specifically is somebody who Newcastle were looking at signing.
Yeah.
last summer, you're talking about 60, 65 million pounds. He was valued at then.
Just gone up from 15 million in 2 minutes. Incredible.
I said in excess of 50.
Oh, 50.
I think there was a series of offers by Newcastle. I'm not sure what it. I think it may have been 55 or 60 that got rejected. I'm not sure. So I went safe on 50 plus. But you're right in what you say. He was valued very highly.
Get him in. He's younger than Mateta. He's got resale value. He's got more potential to develop than Mateta. Mateta doesn't want to be at Palace. Hopefully, Jürgen Strand-Larsen doesn't want to be at Palace. I think from Palace's perspective, just close the window. Close the window because Palace fans just feel they've really gone through it this month. All the sort of saga with Mark Gahey, the manager leaving as well, and now all the question marks about Mateta. Just close the window so Palace can get back to winning ways because they need to. I think this still could be a really successful season for Palace because, okay, they want to finish as high as possible in the Premier League, but their main focus has to be on winning the Conference League, because if they win the Conference League, and they're very capable of doing that, win the Conference League, and then you're in the
Adam, I
Europa
want to
League
play
next season,
Brookhaven with
where they
me.
feel they
No,
should
I'm
be
busy.
this season.
I think just one
No,
final
I'm
point.
busy.
When?
Their
Oh, when I
recruitment
finish
recently has
Stranger
been
Things
exceptional.
3.
They've signed some incredible.
What episode are you on?
They've always developed young players,
Episode
coached young players,
1.
outperformed really. their
We're gonna go
expectations.
avenge it today.
And I think you have to, as
Yes.
a Palace fan,
And
almost just
I
trust
have
that they're on the right track. Whilst it feels really
8
frustrating, at the
episodes
moment,
left.
they
But
certainly
I
have
won't
got
be
the
playing
history to
Roblox
prove
by
that they're
then.
more than capable of dealing with players.
Then deal with it.
Right, so it all comes down to
Will
the
we
deadline
take-
day then, which is coming up on Monday. That's when the window shuts. Clubs and players looking to get moves. Less than 72 hours to get it done. You can keep across Sky Sports News throughout the day from 7 and also our transfer blog, but we've got everything covered. Right, we're going to take a break, and in that break I'm going to get Carly